What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40K. So we have the new codex for the Grey Knights, and within its pages we see a little excerpt on the Terminus Decree, and everybody is freaking out on the internet about what this little passage has to say. So let's go ahead and see what it says. Held in a simple wooden box that only the Supreme Grand Master may open, the Terminus Decree details the Emperor's final command to the Grey Knights chapter. The Master of Mankind can never be allowed to leave the Golden Throne, either return to life, reborn in another's body, or ascend as some kind of warp entity, and if he does, the Grey Knights must return him to his terrible duty. Indeed, they were created with the possibility of this event in mind, a task beyond the abilities of any other force in the Imperium. The decree offers no guidance on how such feats may be achieved, for it is neither a weapon nor a magic formula. Rather, the Grey Knights themselves would be this weapon on such a desperate day, one that would likely have to cut a path through the ranks of the Custodian Guard and many others to see its duty done. So here we have this reveal, but I don't know if it's just me, but wasn't this kind of revealed in the second book of The End of the Death? Because I believe it said that the Terminus Decree was a kind of virus that would spread and destroy all Space Marines, both Chaos and Loyalists alike, just to kind of wipe the slate clean. I don't know if I'm getting these two things confused or if this is retconning that. But regardless, let's go ahead and talk about what this Terminus Decree that has been given to us in the Codex of the Grey Knights actually implies for the future of 40K. So one of two things is that we know that the Emperor has given them this decree. It came from the Emperor himself, and it came to that of the Grey Knights and the Grey Knights only. So only the Grey Knights, or at least the Grand Master, knows of what the Terminus Decree can do. So we can't have any other chapter, any other Primarch, any other character do this besides the Grey Knights themselves. So with this being said, it's essentially the Grey Knights knowing that there is no other option. The Emperor has either become a god, he has either reincarnated, or he has left the Golden Throne. And before he was interred on the Golden Throne, he knew that he had to be there forever, to keep the Astronomicon lit, and to allow humanity to prosper by him being this infinite energy source for humanity. So he knew that this had to happen. So no ascending to godhood. If the Emperor does become a god, this means that even though his body may still be on the throne, the spiritual power is what's powering the throne. So the ability of him becoming a god essentially is robbing humanity of the Astronomicon. So it seems. This hasn't confirmed, and nothing like this has happened yet. This is all just speculation. But if that is the case, and the Emperor does achieve godhood or reincarnates, then it seems that the Grey Knights are kind of going to be the bad guys, so to speak. They're going to go on a pilgrimage, on a crusade to Terra to essentially make sure that the Emperor some way, somehow goes back to sitting on the Golden Throne, rendering him in this half-dead state again. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing. Like, think about it this way. If the Emperor does come back in a physical form, say his perpetual status reincarnates himself so that he's no longer in this half-dead state and he's now leading the Imperium, I mean, I don't see a reason why the Grey Knights would want to have to put him on the throne again. If he's back to his 30k era of leading, humanity as himself, why would he want to be put back on the chair? It just doesn't make sense to me. So I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon or at all. If anything, the one that makes the most sense for me is him achieving apotheosis and godhood. So now we have the Grey Knights fighting against basically all the Space Marines, the Astra Militarum, the Sisters of Battle, the Custodes, and the Sisters of Silence to get within reach of the Emperor upon the Golden Throne and somehow, some way, fight against his powers in the warp, fight against the Emperor as a god, and bring him back down to this half-dead state on the Golden Throne. I don't see that happening as well, because as powerful as the Grey Knights are when fighting chaos and demons and warp stuff, I don't think they're going to be anywhere near as strong to basically banish the Emperor from godhood and put him into the state that he is currently in. They're going to be fighting an uphill battle. Now don't get me wrong, the Grey Knights have done crazy things like this before. For example, when Drago took on none other than Mortarion, a demon Primarch, and basically whooped his butt. Now that did get retconned and he did have help, but nonetheless, the Grey Knights, when they are at their peak, are able to take on these demon Primarch level threats. Now again, they're not fighting a god, they're not fighting the Emperor, but if the so-called Grey Knights pool all their warp power together, maybe they can. Now, we did lose Drago in the new codex. He's not within the pages. You can't field him anymore, which is a huge blow, because Drago was this overpowered Supreme Grand Master of the Grey Knights, and he was trapped in the warp, but also could like break its chains and come into real space to aid his warriors. But apparently that may not be a thing in the future of the Grey Knights. So if we did lose the Supreme Grand Master, that is a huge blow to them. Who's going to step up to become this powerful warrior on equal or greater strengths than Drago? That I don't know. And with that being said, another thing that kind of popped into my mind is that supposedly the Grey Knights have the gene seed of the Emperor with them. So maybe that is their saving grace in them having the power to pull the Emperor out of apotheosis and back onto the throne by using that sliver of the Emperor that is within each and every one of the Grey Knights to kind of bring him back down to the position he wanted himself in. I don't know, man. This seems very, very unlikely. Again, they would have to fight through innumerable odds to get to Terra itself, and once they're actually on Terra, their forces will be depleted. Whatever force is still on Terra, they would have to contend with the Custodes, which we all know they are the pinnacle of the Imperium's warriors. And say for some reason they're doing okay against the Custodes, they won't be. They are also being backed up by the Sisters of Silence, these blanks, these pariahs. They are the antithesis to the Grey Knights, where the Grey Knights wield the warp to fight against the warp. They fight fire with fire. They can't fight the warp against nulls that basically render all warp powers useless. So essentially they're going to be fighting fire against water, and this water will put them out and allow the Custodians to obliterate the Grey Knights. So again, I don't see this happening at all. So let me know your thoughts here, guys. The Terminus Decree here, I don't see it happening any shape, way, or form, unless that sliver of the Grey Knights with the gene seed of the Emperor kind of doing something crazy. That's their only saving grace, because again, if it does become a civil war, they're getting wiped out. There's not a lot of Grey Knights. Yes, they're all psychers. Yes, they're all powerful. But against the combined forces of the Custodians and that of the Sisters of Silence, I don't see them doing anything. And also, am I wrong about the Terminus Decree from the End and the Death Volume 2? Yeah, that's all I got for today. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Let's keep the conversation going down below. This has been the Sound Alchemist, and I'll see you in the next time. Peace.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation. I knew I never